Hello everybody. In this video, I'm excited to do another round of answering your questions that we choose from the comments. We chose random questions from the comments and I'm going to be answering. I'm going to read the question and answering them. And who knows, maybe you're the one that I chose to read the comments from, so make sure you stick through this video. We talk about embassies reopening, NVC procedures, green card expired, what to do, and many other topics. Once again, maybe you are the chosen one. So make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. So let's jump right in. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the question and answer segment of our immigration channel. If you like this format, I'll be sure to do more of those videos and hopefully include your questions as well. Once again, if you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe to our immigration channel, click the bell to be notified so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to share this video with more people just like you. So let's jump right into the questions. First question is from Sabrina Darmo, and Sabrina is asking, hi Jacob, can you say when will NVC start scheduling interviews? I'm already documentary qualified by NVC and I'm waiting for an appointment date. It's been 3 months since I got documentary qualified. Thank you, Sabrina, for this question. And again, this is a question that I see over and over in the comments and emails that people ask me. When will NVC send this case for an interview? I've done a full video that talks about how NVC is now scheduling the interviews and sending cases to the US Embassy once they are documentary qualified. In that video, which is linked right here, there's a link to this video in the description of this video and also a link right here. What that means is that NVC specifically stated that all cases that are documentary qualified are going to be sent to the embassy in the order that they were documentary qualified. What that means is that they're also depending on the respective US embassies. So for example, in your case, if your embassy is currently closed or not accepting cases, those cases will stay warehoused at the NVC until this embassy will provide the NVC its quota and its capacity to conduct interview every single month. And based on that, NVC will be able to send the case to the US Embassy to start schedule interviews. The US Embassy is not going to be requesting the files from NVC, as I mentioned in that other video. Instead, NVC will look at the capacity of each embassy and will start sending those cases in the order that they were documentary qualified. In your case, you're currently waiting for 3 months. If there are people that are waiting longer than you and your embassy is closed, the NVC will give that priority based on people that were documentary qualified just a little bit before you. Hopefully that answers the question. Remember, it's important to be patient, and we know that NVC is actively monitoring what embassies are doing, and as soon as they're opening, they're going to start sending those cases to the embassies. They have no intention to keep those cases warehoused at the NVC. Next question is from Farah Hassan. I'm waiting for an interview appointment, CR1, since October. The US Embassy is in Islamabad, ? Again, this is a question that represents hundreds of comments and questions that I'm getting. People asking, when will my embassy reopen? When will they start schedule interviews? This example of Islamabad is one of the most complicated embassies. They're still not fully open because of the country conditions as well, and also because of the staffing level of this particular embassy. So, once again, it is really important to stay in touch with this embassy in your case, to keep sending them emails, and more importantly, check their website. They will update. The State Department gave an order to all the embassies to update their websites as soon as they are open for routine visa appointments. This advice applies to all embassies because I'm getting this question all the time. When will my embassy reopen? When will my interviews will be scheduled? Remember, it's going to be different from Islamabad from Mumbai. It's going to be different from Mumbai than Moscow. It's going to be different from Moscow than Frankfurt. They're all going to be reopening in different phases, and I've mentioned that in multiple of my videos, and I want to mention that in this question because I think it's important. Many of you are asking this question. So in this case with Islamabad, you need to stay in touch with them. You need to keep emailing them. Right now, the only way is to try to get it expedited under the NIE exception. We've done quite a few of those with Islamabad, and this is the only way right now to get an interview to bypass the waiting system. We hope that in the next few months, more and more of these posts are going to start to reopen, and you're going to see it on their websites. You're going to see it if you email them. They will let you know which post is open and when. Once again, remember, it's not going to be an overall uniform reopening. They're going to be a reopening one by one. And again, Islamabad, unfortunately, I expect it to be one of the last to reopen because they do have a lot of issues there. They do have a lot of issues with staffing and capacity inside this embassy to conduct interviews. Once again, once I have more information, trust me, I'll keep you posted as well. Next question is from Tanzila Siddiqui. If I don't say your name correctly, don't hate me for it. And the question is, my case was updated to RFE for Form I-944 on March 4th. I still haven't received any notice in the mail. I need to respond by June. What should I do? They only asked for I-944. I'm not sure what should I respond with. So Tanzila, thanks for this question. It's a really important question. And again, I'm getting a lot of questions relating to the public charge. I've done a video specifically explaining tips for what to do now that the public charge rule is gone, tips for filing new cases, and also tips for responding for requests for evidence that were issued before March 9th, just like in your case. You can see a link to the video here and also in the description of this video. But the bottom line is that what USCIS said is that if you have a request for evidence that was issued before March 9th and you have to respond for the RFE after March 9th, the requirements are that you don't have to respond to this RFE as it relates to Form I-944. That's what they say. If your request for evidence has other elements, so I-944 questions, but also questions about the adjustment of status, birth certificate, criminal issues, whatever, you still have to respond to the RFE. You just ignore the I-944 part. Here's my advice. What I suggest is that if anybody has an RFE that only has an I-944, I would still respond. I would just respond. You go to the immigration website, download the public charge update. It's right there at the USCIS website where it has the update on the public charge rule being gone. Just print that out, highlight that section that says that you don't have to provide the information on I-944 anymore, and respond to that RFE. At least there's going to be a record that you responded, and that's it. It's not going to take too long, but I do recommend to respond, just not to get a denial for lack of response to an RFE. That's it. That's what I would do. So it's not a big deal, but you don't have to provide the evidence as it relates to I-944 anymore. That is gone right now. So hopefully that information is helpful. Anybody else that is in the same boat, and probably there are many people like that, I know that you're going to appreciate that advice. Next question is from Steel User 1983, and the question is as following. Hi, I'm scheduled for a marriage-based green card interview in the first week of April at the Chicago field office. I have a 3-year-old child. Can I take him with me to the interview or not? Would appreciate your input on that. Once again, it's an important question, and I know a lot of people have that issue as well. So right now, USCIS has very strict guidelines as to who can enter the building, how you can enter the building, and those guidelines are a little bit different between the different jurisdictions. But what I can tell you is that almost all USCIS offices are limiting the amount of people that are coming to the interview. So for example, if your child is not part of the application in the sense that if he's a US citizen and he's not an immigrant, if you're married to a US citizen spouse and you're the only immigrant, I would not recommend for you to bring the child to the interview. Just bring the birth certificate to show that you guys obviously have a child. You can come with your spouse because you both are required to be at the interview. The requirement of a marriage-based interview is to bring your spouse and yourself so you are able to answer the questions. If it's not necessary to bring the child, I would recommend not to bring the child because staffing and space is very limited. Unless there's an absolute necessity to bring the child, or if he's also an immigrant, for example, this is your child, born overseas and not from this marriage, and he's also adjusting his status, of course, then you have to bring the child. But otherwise, I would recommend not to bring the child because, again, staffing is limited at USCIS right now. You don't want to be in a position where you come with your child and then they send you back because they won't let you in, and now you're stuck not knowing what to do with your child. So my recommendation, less people, the better. So if you like this format, let me know. I'll be choosing more questions from the comments, and who knows, maybe I'll feature you next. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for posting the questions, the comments. I appreciate you all very much. Once again, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to recommend this video to more people just like you. Remember, if you want to have a consultation, one-on-one just with me. Remember, the advice provided in my videos are for general information only, but if you need to do a consultation with me, make sure you text me to 619-483-4549 and set up a consultation so we can dive in and discuss your case specifically. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.